Once upon a time, or maybe twice.
Welcome back to the Good, the Bad and the Ugly Show. So today we are back to do another one of these worst to best.
We are.
They're so damn popular, aren't they?
Yeah.
People just love them. Falling over themselves to watch these
Inundated
things.
after the Star Trek episode. When are
Absolutely.
you going to do a Star Wars one?
When will you do
gonna
a Star Wars one? That's obviously next.
And
So
for all you fans out there, now's the time.
how do we start? We start with the same way we did last time, where I say...
It's also our personal opinion as well.
Oh yeah, before we do this,
this is another list. That's our personal opinion. It's obviously not factual. Please leave your lists in the comments below. Be interested to find out, how you rate yours as well.
You will find that it is you who are mistaken about a great many things.
But,
absolutely. So it's just our personal worst to best, not like a scientific thing that we've worked out over doing loads of work and stuff.
Many Bothans died to bring us this information.
We didn't do the research on this one.
We
just
need to do research on
Star Wars now.
Years of Star Wars stuff and Star. We grew up in the 80s.
What was your first experience of Star Wars?
My first experience of Star Wars. Well, so from the moment I was born, we had Star Wars figures just knocking about, just everywhere. Like the Falcon behind us and Jabba the Hutt and all that. But yeah, we had these figures just all over the house. It was always a thing. I never really knew what they were until I was about kind of 5 years old when I saw Empire Strikes Back.
That was the first time you saw?
Yeah, that was shown on TV. We just kind of watched it. And from then onwards, I was hooked. I suddenly recognised the ship and the people and everything, and went and gathered them all. And yeah.
So for me, it was A New Hope or Star Wars back in the day always got put on at Christmas.
Yeah.
So my first memory is of the episode 4, New Hope, and it just kept on being put on every Christmas, and then they skipped Empire Strikes Back and then put on Return of the Jedi. So I watched A New Hope, then Return of the Jedi, then Empire Strikes Back.
Interesting.
Yeah,
because I saw Empire Strikes Back and then Return of the Jedi and then Star Wars. It took me years to finally see Star Wars. So so that was your Star Wars.
Yeah, that was my first Star Wars experience. And then of course, do you remember going to Argus? I remember going to Argus and buying the first 4-pack of figures in my first
Argus.
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 Yeah. And my first 4 figures was AT-AT Commander, Tusken Raider, Lobot, and C-3PO with a removable lid.
So we should probably get onto this list at some point. We have 7 minutes this time. I'm probably going to edit all this out. I'm not really. I'm going to leave it all
Leave it in.
Again,
Leave it in.
again, it's all hilarious. This is
Yeah.
why we get comments saying you guys are fucking boring, man.
Yeah, no,
This is
exactly,
why-
yeah,
This is
yeah.
why we get that. But
Yeah.
you know, it's all part of the fun. It's all part of the fun. You either love it or you hate it.
It's
We're
real-
Like,
it's
we're like
real.
the Marmite of YouTube, man.
It's real, mate. It's real.
It's keeping it real.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it's doing.
Okay.
So, we're going to begin with the list. So, the worst Star Wars film of all. Obviously, it's the first one. No one likes that.
Yeah.
No, we're not
Everyone
gonna go with
hates
that.
it.
We're
Yeah.
not going to go with that. So, what we're going to do this time, I keep looking at the floor. What we're going to do this time, so last time in the Star Trek one, we used some amazing
We used technology to beam it in.
beaming stuff, the transporter we had.
And you've recently went
They
on a
went-
course. You recently went on a course to learn the Force.
I did go on a course to learn the Force, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically they wouldn't give us the transporter again because they're like,
Yeah.
you're not using that for fucking Star
You can
Wars,
only
no.
you can
Yeah,
only
yeah,
borrow
yeah,
it like
bloody Trekkies, mate.
Yeah.
Silly. So what we're going to do with this one is I'm going to use the Force to bring stuff in, bring an object in to represent the film we're talking about.
You are.
So that's how we're going to do this. So at number 11, the very worst of the worst Star Wars film of all is Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
Blast! This is why I hate flying. Anakin, do you copy? This is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Always a pleasure to meet a Jedi.
Rated PG.
Of course. So just bear with me, and I'm going to use Force to bring in something that represents. Okay, so what is this? What the fuck is this?
That is Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah. Have a look. I mean, put my hand behind it in a second. And yeah, look, he's got action features. Why does he do that, Tim?
Every kid wants an action feature.
Why does he do that though?
I'm guessing it's to hold his lightsaber when it's two-handed. When it's
What does he do otherwise? Just
uh,
lets it go.
yeah, pretty
Um,
much.
Yeah, this is Anakin Skywalker with his one braid
Yep.
from Attack of the Clones. That's right, a terrible figure.
Yeah.
This is
For a terrible film.
what Star Wars became by this point. What year was this film?
2002 was it?
Was it?
Yeah.
If we get these things wrong, we'll just stick it at the bottom
Yeah.
of the screen.
Phantom Menace was 1999, and it's always 3 years for.
Okay, so 2002, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so this is what Star Wars have become in 2002.
Yeah.
So, reasons we don't like this film particularly.
So it just felt flat to me. Like
Yeah.
after the disappointment of the Phantom Menace,
Yeah.
everybody was hoping that the Attack of the Clones was going to be better, and it turned out to be, in my opinion, even worse. You've got Obi-Wan's mullet that changes for the reshoots. It's really bad. You can see it,
Yeah.
you know, when he's going up into the lift with Anakin in the beginning.
Oh shit, his arms literally just, I can't make this up, man. His arms just come off.
Yeah,
Oh, it slots back on, look. There we go, look. Yeah.
there you go.
Let's just play with this figure and not talk about the film at all, because why would you want to talk about that film? I don't know.
The only thing that I've got good to say about Attack of the Clones
Yeah.
is Christopher Lee's performance as Count Dooku.
Count Dooku, yeah. He wasn't typecast, was he?
No, he wasn't.
At
Yeah,
all.
yeah,
Wasn't
no,
really.
not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
The
film.
Droid Factory was your favourite scene, wasn't
Oh
it?
god, that was added on as well, apparently.
Yeah, C-3PO and the droid have swapped heads.
Yeah,
running around.
yeah.
It's
Oh no! I'm so confused.
and you got that kind of like sort of gladiator kind of scene
Yeah,
at the end where
yeah.
they end up in like a kind of amphitheatre.
Yeah,
and,
with the Jedi's against like the
and then all the Jedi's
separatist
turn up.
droids. Yeah,
Mace Windu and
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's a terrible, terrible film. Like,
Yeah.
because of the sequel trilogy, everybody goes back to the prequels now and thinks, oh, they're not too bad. And
Yeah,
and then they
yeah,
start
yeah.
praising Hayden Christensen's acting and stuff like that.
Time's an interesting healer,
It
isn't
is,
it?
mate, it is.
Yeah.
But it's one of the most wooden performances I've ever seen in a film, to be honest.
I suppose if I try and think back to when I first saw it, I guess I didn't mind it so much through most of the film. It was a Droid Factory scene that finally made me think this isn't very fucking good at all, was it?
Yeah, okay.
that was the bit where it came apart. Really,
Yeah.
I quite liked the Cloud City type place. The
Kamina?
yeah.
In the waves, you know, in
Yeah,
the ocean.
the wherever they go in it. I
Yeah.
don't know, it was a long time ago. But the clone army and stuff, it was kind of clever. The whole mystery of what's going on, and
Yeah.
the whole like film noir, private eye,
Oh, God,
detective,
Jesus, yeah.
detective Obi-Wan Kenobi going off to find out.
Yeah, well,
Yoda
yeah.
being really fucking rude and condescending to him.
Lost a planet, Master Obi-Wan has. How embarrassing. How embarrassing.
What a dick.
I think
Yeah.
the prequel trilogy did make Yoda.
They
a
did
bit,
make
to be honest.
Yoda an arrogant dick, didn't
Yeah,
they?
they
Like,
did,
what
they
is
did.
what is that about, man?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Attack of the Clones, it's basically, like you say, it is kind of a detective story, but it's done
Yeah.
very, very badly.
It's-
I'm sorry, mate. It
And
is.
you've also got, wasn't there a kind of a diner scene as well? With
Yeah,
like,
the
diner
fi-
waitress
the-
robot? Was
yeah,
that a waitress robot?
Jawa Juice.
Yeah.
Because we saw that.
And a weird chef.
We saw that at the Comic Con.
I don't know. I mean, I guess they're trying to go with
Dexter
the...
Jetster was the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot in this film to leave a sour taste
It
in the mouth.
does.
Jawa juice leaves a sour taste in the mouth.
Always, mate.
Absolutely.
Always. Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate Hans Christian Haydenson. I don't think he's
Yeah.
the problem. The problem's probably the script and the film itself. But
I think his acting.
he contributes. To
I
the
think
film.
his acting was a lot
Yeah.
left to be desired on that one. Mate,
Yeah.
To be honest.
Who was the robot dude with all the many lightsabers?
Oh, General Grievous. He was
General
in
Grievous.
Revenge of the
yeah.
Sith.
Do you think that was a bit over the top?
A bit.
All the lightsabers, the
Yeah.
big lightsabers.
He's better.
spirally
They
thing?
did like a Clone Wars to Scotland. I can't even pronounce it, but I
Yeah.
think in 2003 they did a like sort of anime Clone Wars, and he was taken from that. And
That's right.
it
We
was-
should mention
yeah.
the Clone Wars a little bit.
And
So
it
there
was
was
really, really good.
There were two of them, weren't there? There was one Clone Wars series that was
Tarkovsky, I think,
Yeah.
was the first one. It was like an anime thing.
yeah, animated kind of ninja-esque thing, and then there
yeah.
was one that was all CGI.
Yeah.
Which one was the better one?
They were both all right, actually. To be honest, like the Clone Wars that was CGI
Yeah.
got better over the period that it was on.
Okay. Yeah.
But the Tarkovsky one was really, you know, it made like General Grievous a threat, whereas in the film
Yeah.
it just sounded like an asthmatic.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So there we go. So that was the worst Star Wars film. I think many would agree, many would disagree. But tell us in the comments. You know, if you made it this far.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
So that brings us to number 10. To number 10 of the worst.
Yeah.
Not episode 10.
No, not episode 10.
Not yet. That brings us to number 10, the second worst Star Wars film of the Star Wars films.
Which is episode 8, The
yeah.
Last Jedi.
Okay, so I'll use the Force again, see if I can bring something in. So, okay, so what do we have here? Emperor Palpatine. That's right.
From the actual vintage collection.
From the vintage collection. Yeah. Okay. So So what can we say about this dude?
Legend, basically.
So, should we about the figure or the film? What do you
I'm
think about?
talking about the figure, mate.
We'll just talk about the
And-
figure. For a bit.
yeah.
The figure's pretty good. It's a pretty solid figure, really.
Yeah.
He actually is quite a solid figure. Look at
Yes.
that. Blimey, not a lot of action play with this one,
No.
but
Didn't need it,
but
mate.
He was a
Didn't need it.
classic. He just
He was a
stand there and look scary.
He was a
right?
presence, mate.
He was a presence. So, so The Last Jedi, what can we say about this piece of shit?
Let the past die.
Right, so it was Ryan Johnson who directed it, and he was about to subvert expectations,
Yeah.
and he did. And basically,
Not quite in the way.
not quite in the right
way
way.
you were thinking.
The reason why I don't like this one is, again, it just felt one-dimensional and it felt flat again.
Yeah.
I guess like people will argue that, you know, the bit between Luke and Rey was quite interesting, and it was.
Yeah.
But on this one, I think you had, was it the Mary Poppins bit with
Oh yeah.
Leia?
So when they blow up the when they blow a hole in the side of the ship and Princess Leia goes floating off into space and does it from the
Yes.
Mary Poppins back to the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ruffled a lot of feathers, didn't it?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
rightly so, mate. To be honest with you, that was that was so.
I believe so. R.I.P. Carrie Fisher. I
Yep.
believe we lost Carrie Fisher during the production of that film.
Yeah.
So
in between that and the Rise of Skywalker, wasn't it? Yeah.
did she film all of that? I mean, she probably filmed like the majority, but I think they changed things around, didn't they? Like slightly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So difficulties with making that film.
Yeah.
If they just stuck all of the original lot in the first one, The Force Awakens, and given us that proper reunion that we all wanted, things could have been a bit different. But instead we get this weird kind of like disjointed collection of films where characters show up scattered through them.
Yeah, and like
Just kind of not really... I don't know.
like we discussed on the Star Trek episodes.
Yeah.
No matter how bad the film is, there's still some good moments in it. Like,
Yeah.
so when Luke boards the Millennium Falcon,
Yeah.
and he goes to the cockpit. Yeah, that like, pulled
That's
out the
right.
heartstrings
Yeah,
a little
that
bit.
was quite good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't like the way that they treated Luke Skywalker in that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's gone from like, you know, a Jedi Knight to like trying to kill his own nephew.
Yeah.
And basically like,
there is that.
yeah,
There is
and
that
it's
stuff.
like, okay, it just, because there were books after Return of the Jedi. You
Yeah.
know, and
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and that treated Luke Skywalker better than these films ever did.
We'll get onto those when we talk about The
Yeah.
Force Awakens,
Yeah.
I suppose. Yeah.
The Last Jedi, I just sat there when I like you know, I ordered it from like on the TV.
You didn't go to the cinema to
No, I did not
see
go.
that one then?
No.
Do you mean like burnt already?
Yeah, near enough.
Yeah, yeah. I
Uh,
saw it at the cinema, but the thing, seeing something at the cinema kind of like tricks you slightly because you kind of think it wasn't as bad as it was.
Mm-hmm.
So when I saw it, I quite liked it. On the first viewing, I thought it was all right. I thought it was quite interesting that they were doing something a bit different.
Yeah.
Also, I quite liked some of the battle scene stuff, like Luke at the end with the salt, you know,
The
all
soap
that stuff.
planet and all that, yes.
Yeah, I quite liked it initially. I thought, that was very good. I came away thinking, that was great, it was great. Over a few days, you think, it slowly seeps in, doesn't it? You know, it kind of, yeah, you get kind of overwhelmed by sensory
And
overload.
you're
or
also
whatever.
with other people as well, so that
Yeah,
you know,
and you want something to be good, I
Yeah,
guess.
and it-
You know, when you
yeah.
spend money on a ticket and you go and see it, you kind of
it's
want
the
it
whole
to be,
experience
to be
of
good.
going to the
Yeah.
cinema, basically.
Yeah, it's only in hindsight, really, you look back and think, or you look back and watch the other films again and kind of think, well, actually, maybe not.
But again, like,
Yeah.
there's not like I think Snoke dies in this one as well.
Yeah.
You know, they played him up to be the big bad in The Force Awakens, and then subverts
Yeah.
expectations with just killing him off.
Yeah, it feels like this was the final chapter rather than
Yeah.
the second chapter
Yeah.
of it. Yeah.
And there's bits of the film that really, really don't make any sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like stuff with Rey and all of that, and she gets back onto the Millennium Falcon at the end.
There's a bit where they're trying to go for the Luke on Dagobah when he meets the vision of Vader and it's his own face and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's where Rey's in some kind of cave and there's a bunch of mirrors.
Yeah.
And she starts clicking her fingers.
Yeah.
Reminded me of Moonwalker, Michael Jackson. I thought he was about to go into
Annie,
some...
are you okay?
I thought he was about to go into a Michael Jackson song.
yeah, yeah.
And then it'll start going, "Come on," and
Yeah.
it'll go into that. It felt weird. It felt like, what am I fucking watching here?
Yeah.
This took me out a little bit. That
It
you know?
felt The Last Jedi for me felt the less likely Star Wars film ever made. You know,
Yeah, I guess
it
they were
just didn't-
trying to do. It's kind of silly when you get someone who's like, "Well, I'm going to make something that's very different." It's like, well, no, you're not. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you're kind of hired to make a Star Wars film. Really, you should probably make a Star Wars film. You know,
Yeah.
just saying. You know,
It is.
if you, I mean, for the Star Wars stories, the separate ones, they can maybe do what they want.
Mhm.
But I think for one of the actual films, they shouldn't really fuck around too much.
No.
'Cause it takes it out of what it is.
You
right?
get people like us moaning.
Yeah, people, dickheads on the internet
Yeah.
complaining about it if you're not careful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
this
exactly what happened here, isn't it?
is.
So, yeah, I don't know though. I mean, I haven't heard many people say great things about this film.
No.
To be
The
honest.
fact when he throws away the lightsaber as well, I think that's a point of contention for people as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he just throws it over the cliff, doesn't he?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it reminded me of like what Marvel were doing at the time. You know, Marvel,
Yeah.
they had these massive great battle scenes,
Yeah.
and then they had quips, and like people were dying and they were quipping,
Yeah. This is
and it got tiresome very quick.
part of the problem is like not everything has to be a fucking comedy. Not everything needs throwaway comedy lines in it. And there's so much of that in this film. Like right at the beginning, like there's a whole bit, there's a whole fucking like skit, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah.
It, it's like an SNL thing. You
Yeah.
you don't fucking need it, man.
And, like, it's in the
very
theatre-
unnecessary. Wasn't there a bit of an iron looking like a spaceship? Or was that in The Force Awakens? That's a bit where it looks like a ship's coming down and it's a fucking iron. But
Okay.
they're doing like it's like a scene from Top Secret
Yeah.
or something. Yeah. There's too much sort of tongue-in-cheek comedy
Yeah.
in these. I mean, there was a little bit in the original ones, but only by like occasional dialogue.
But it was also.
It was a throwaway line.
Yeah, but it was
you
also-
know,
it was
boring
al-
conversation anyway.
But it also-
stuff like that. But that's only a tiny little fucking like a paraphrase or whatever.
But it
it's
also
not.
came from the character.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you knew Han Solo was this roguish guy.
Yeah.
You know, ever after he shot Greedo, it was like, sorry
Yeah.
about the mess.
It wasn't out of character
No,
to say that.
no, exactly.
No, it's not. You're not putting in a fucking joke, are you? You're
No.
just building on the character.
Yeah,
And what you've got. Yeah.
and so
Yeah,
it
yeah.
worked.
So it works.
Yeah,
I don't know. Not much more to say. Blue milk.
yeah,
Yeah.
always. Oh, he drank some blue milk from some titties.
He did. He did.
Yeah. Hey, we
Yeah.
all want to do it, mate.
We all want to do it. We all want to do it. And I can't remember what else is in this.
That's it. That's
Was
basically it.
Yoda in this one? He wasn't he? Yoda shows up.
Do you know,
He got the books.
Oh, the Jedi Sacred Text.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the sacred text. Yoda looks good in this. Yoda looks better in this than he has done in the previous Star Wars films.
Yeah, but Yoda can then.
the prequels.
Yeah, but then Yoda can set fire to like.
Yeah,
it's like
Yoda's powers are a bit more
Yeah.
than before.
better than when he was alive.
But the puppet looked alright.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they've gone back to.
I
the
thought he
puppet
looked a bit bloated though, to be honest.
A little bit. Bit
He's
old.
doing well. Yeah, he's doing well.
Well,
on
it
the
was like
outside.
Alec Guinness, though, you know.
Yeah. Well,
Could they not have
Oh,
CGI'd him back in there
Did
somewhere?
they use like Alec Guinness's and Ewan McGregor's voice for the Force Awakens?
They
Rey,
did, I
take the
think.
first steps.
But now it's too contrived because which ghost do you even go with now?
You go for the-
Do you go for Ewan McGregor or Alec Guinness? Because they keep using Ewan McGregor now for
They have
the
to, mate.
early references because they've done that now.
They have
so
to.
it's too late.
Yeah.
It's like I think Alec Guinness might eventually get himself completely fucking wiped out of Star Wars history here.
Do
But
you
like,
do you think that they will impose like?
what was his name? Vader.
Oh, Sebastian Shaw.
Sebastian Shaw. Yeah. Completely erased from.
So do you think that they will like one day like put like Ewan McGregor's face on like
over what they
Alec
call
Guinness's-
A New Hope? Yeah, maybe. Or put him as a ghost in Empire. They could do it, couldn't they?
That is
They're
worrying.
fucking around so much
That
with
is
it all. That
Why they did that? I do
Yeah.
not know.
It's like when you do an amazing painting and then you paint something else on it and you think, shit, I shouldn't have done that. I should have left it.
Yeah.
Oh well, we'll tart that up. Oh no, we made it even worse, and you'll keep going until that fucking thing is ruined, like forever.
Yeah. You've
That's
got to
kind of how they're doing with Star Wars.
you've
I
got to
feel
know
like,
when
you
to
know.
stop, basically.
Got to know when to stop. Right, end the video. So I'm going to bring in something else with the Force, and to represent this next film,
This is a big one, mate.
we'll see what happens.
You might have to use two hands for this
Right.
one.
Right, okay, so we've got Yoda, which makes absolutely no fucking sense.
So
Because what we've done here is we were supposed to use Yoda to represent the last one, and we used Emperor Palpatine instead. It's supposed to be the other way round.
but hold on.
Because Yoda's in The Last Jedi,
Yeah.
right? He turns up in that. Whereas Palpatine turns up. Why do we have him in the last?
But hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Somehow Palpatine's returned.
Somehow he's yeah, that's right.
There we go.
The dead speak.
It does.
Here he is. We don't need Yoda anymore.
Yeah.
We've got Palpatine again for
Again.
this one.
Yep.
So here we go. So what we have now is Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker.
This will be the final word in the story of Skywalker.
Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Get tickets now.
Now you can forgive us for getting these fucking films muddled up because they weren't very good.
They're
were they?
interchangeable, and it's like
Interchangeable because they're not very good. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I went to the cinema to watch this movie.
So The Rise of Skywalker. This was the final one, wasn't it?
This was. Thank God.
This was the final one. This is where the Emperor comes back.
Somehow.
Inexplicably.
Somehow.
For no reason. For no real reason at all. The Emperor's back. And he's making a lot of noise.
Yeah.
So young Han Solo's son goes off to find him.
Yeah, I mean, like one of the
Lando we could have used Lando, couldn't we?
one of the
Lando shows up.
one of the positive things of the sequels is
Yeah.
Adam Driver's performance as Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
It was all right, but that's really the only thing that I can take from that.
Yeah, I guess so.
Rise of Skywalker, again, J.J. Abrams comes back to direct this
he
one.
does, doesn't he? We love Jar Jar Abrams.
We do love
man.
Jar Jar Abrams.
Yeah.
A brilliant visual director, there's no
Yeah.
doubt about it, but it's very shallow, his directing, isn't it? You know,
Yeah,
it's
I'm not a massive fan, I have to admit. Yeah.
Okay.
What happens in the last? Is it last
So you like it?
what happens in the rise? What happens in the Last Jedi? We just
Yeah.
talked about. What happens in the Rise of Skywalker then?
Palpatine returns,
Yeah.
and Adam Driver, Kylo Ren goes in search for him.
Yeah.
Somehow he's got a fleet of Star Destroyers.
Yeah. He cloned Snoke, didn't he?
He did clone Snoke.
Yeah.
And his
Why?
brother Snoke.
Yeah, Steve Davis. Yeah, he cloned him, had him in a jar, had loaded him in a jar, right?
Yeah, that's where we all start, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of those fucking pickled heads.
Yeah.
You see them. Do you remember those in like the
I do,
90s? You
yeah.
got those jars of pickled
At
heads.
carnivals and stuff like that.
Yeah, like little weird puppy faces. Kind of looks a bit like that.
Yeah.
So he had a big jar of them, so he sent one of them out to trick everyone.
Yeah.
Why? What was the fucking point in all that?
I don't know,
None
mate.
of it
I
made any
honestly don't
sense.
know.
He's Abrams is obviously trying to undo the last one,
He did.
the Last Jedi,
Yeah.
to try and make his first one make more sense,
Yeah.
and try and join them together. They don't really join together. Rey somehow becomes a Skywalker at the end.
She does. Would you consider Rey a Mary Sue then? Because everybody says she's a Mary Sue.
What?
She's just perfect at everything. She doesn't need no training.
Yeah.
You know, there's, anything she does is just brilliant. She's got
Just bringing this character that can
exactly.
please everybody,
There's no arc to her
but
at
at
all.
the same time please no one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like nothing on the actress, you know.
Yeah, she's fine.
yeah,
You know.
But
yeah.
it's just the way she was written. You know, could have been so much better.
Yeah.
You know, these sequel films. I think I honestly think that they were rushed into production. To be
What's
honest.
the carnival bit all about?
Oh, because they wanted to do a Burning Man type of thing.
Why?
Because they'd never done that before.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to a carnival planet. Oh, now we're going to meet some rebel. No, so we're going to meet some kind of outlaws who are part of like Poe. Is it called Poe?
Poe Dameron, yes.
Named after the old traditional
Yeah,
chamber
Teletubby.
pots.
Teletubby.
Old Teletubby. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to give him a backstory. He
Yeah.
was some kind of rebel.
He was, he was.
Yeah. There was a funny bit in that though, which again we don't really like funny bits in Star Wars films. But there was a bit with the.
We do in context.
She turns a lightsaber on, and then he turns his on as a torch.
Yeah.
And he's all like, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like a sort of like
It's-
it's a dick joke in a Star Wars film. And again, it's a repeat of the original idea for Return of the Jedi, is to like
Yeah.
make Luke go bad. They're teasing us that, oh, Rey's a Palpatine, is she going to become the evil thing? It's all going to be like for nothing or whatever. And it's just boring. You've done it before, you're doing it again. I mean, really,
I will-
these films are just a remake of the original trilogy.
I am going to say something weird now.
Not much more to them. So, like the first one, you've got like Obi-Wan getting killed, Han Solo gets killed
Yeah.
instead. The whole blowing up the Death Star thing. The second one's got the no beginning, middle, or end.
Yeah.
The third one, you've got fucking Palpatine returns. They just remade the original
They did.
trilogy, and that's it. Really.
I will say,
Yeah.
everybody hates the ending when she goes, I'm Rey Skywalker.
yeah.
And rightly so. But I want to defend it a little bit because I'm guessing that the actual reason that they put that in
Yeah.
is because like you're not defined by your name.
This is true. Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
That's
so,
right. It's
you
like
know-
don't let your past become your
Yeah,
destiny.
or
and
like,
all
you
that
know,
stuff, like,
where you come from
Yeah.
doesn't have to be-
be
yeah.
where you end up. That's right.
Exactly.
But how old is Palpatine supposed to be?
Like 56.
So she's
No.
she's his granddaughter.
Yeah. So that means after Palpatine got like electrocuted in the Revenge of the Sith,
He then had kids.
and he then found somebody to have kids with.
I'm not staying with
What a
with
guy.
Grandpa Palpatine again.
So he was on.
No
yeah.
way, man.
So
I'm coming with you guys.
So
you
he
know?
was basically on
Yeah,
Space
yeah.
Tinder for a bit,
Yeah.
and
Can you imagine that?
he put it about a bit.
He put it about.
I got to admire the guy.
You imagine being dropped off at Grandpa Palpatine's house? No fucking thank you, man. He's got a blue light card though.
Yes, mate.
So you can get you some food in, or
Yeah,
whatever, you know,
yeah.
it's all fine.
Disabled
take you to
parking.
the cinema,
Yeah,
disabled parking,
yeah.
that's right. So yeah, none of it really makes sense, does it? It's all just contrived nonsense,
Yeah.
is that right? Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we move on to like, shall we move on to better pastures?
Yes.
Put these sequel films behind us, like everyone else on the planet has done. all the toys are all still in the shops in America. They're all in those
World-class bullshitters.
world-class boosters. Go and check them out.
Check that out.
They're all still there.
Yeah.
They're all still there, hanging up in
At Ollie's.
Ollie's, that's right. Go to Ollie's in America, and you can buy all your
Mm-hmm.
Force Awakens and Jedi and oh shit, we're still got the Force Awakens to cover.
We have. But we've kind of covered that anyway.
Just skip it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Next one.
I'm sure the next one won't come as much of a fucking surprise to you. But we'll do a bit of an element of surprise anyway. I shall hold out my hand and do not bring the wrong one in again.
Oh, we're going to do that one. We've got to do him. Do it for us.
So the next one won't be much of a fucking surprise, really. But anyway, we'll keep it interesting, concise. I'll use the Force again, and we'll bring our next item in to represent our next film in the list. And what do we have here?
We have
Well, there we go.
Kylo Ren.
Sums it all up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It says what we need to say. Now, don't think for a minute I went out and bought this. This was a gift, and not a very nice gift. Not from someone who doesn't like me very
Yeah,
much.
somebody who hated you,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
absolutely.
Yeah.
But here is Kylo Ren, or Kylo Ken, or
Who
whatever
is
we call
the boss of the Knights of Ren?
the boss of the Knights of
Yeah.
Ren. That's right. It sounds like a fucking Muse song.
It does,
doesn't
mate. It
yeah,
does.
Interesting. So, so what we have here is number 8.
The Force Awakens.
Number 8 on our list, The Force Awakens, which was episode 7, right?
Who are you?
I'm no one.
The Force Awakens. So, we said what we really want to say about these films. I thought I'd put it to bed, but I didn't realise we still had this one to cover
Directed
yet.
by J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
I remember the hubbub over this film. It was like, everybody was like, oh, we're finally going to get a good Star Wars film again after the shocking prequels and all of that. And it was a serviceable film, and it was a retelling of A New Hope, basically. Simple as that. Same story, same plot beats, everything.
Same everything. It was a remake of Star Wars, which was later became known as Star Wars Episode 4.
A New Hope.
4.
Four.
A New Hope.
Yeah.
It's just Star Wars. But yeah, it's a remake of that, basically. Yeah, it's like almost scene by scene, not scene by scene, but
Near
points
that-
by points.
You know, like when they remade Psycho
Yeah.
scene by scene?
Yeah,
It felt like that.
It felt a bit like that. This was probably my biggest disappointment in my entire life of Star Wars.
Okay.
Yeah. If that makes sense.
It does.
And I grew up. There were Bendhams around when I grew up, and this was a disappointment. So I grew up in a time where a lack of Star Wars, I guess. Like for years and years, there was nothing in the 90s. They made those Bendham figures. This is what I'm alluding to here. I can put those on the screen.
Yep.
Yeah, Star Wars was sparse in the 90s.
And then they remade the Power of the
Yeah.
Force figures when they were all like
They
beefcakes.
did. They brought the Power of the Force line out, and then they brought all the films back in special edition form. We'll talk more about that later on. But then after that, they did the prequel films. Everyone has their own idea on that. They didn't really bother me at the time. I wasn't really into Star Wars at that point. I was kind of like, I still loved the originals, but I didn't really care what happened next. It was after years and years of like Star Wars, and then these films come out, and you think, wow, they're getting the original bunch back. They're finally making films that are supposed to be better than the prequels were.
Yeah.
And George Lucas has sold it to Disney.
He did.
Is that a good thing? Can that be a good thing? We'll wait and see.
He also gave them
Maybe.
the ideas for like episode 7, 8, and 9, and they went, nah,
They
you're
went,
right.
fuck that. Yeah, I mean, you never know. They might have been shit.
Yeah.
To be honest, you
Probably
never know.
would've
You never know. But we did have those books, as we were talking about earlier on. Those
Yeah,
books that were.
So you had like the Timothy Zahn novels, which
That's
was
right.
Heir to the Empire and stuff like that.
That's the ones, man. That's the ones. These ones saw Han and Leia had twins, right?
did.
Who became Jedis.
They did.
Luke was teaching them.
Yeah.
Doesn't Luke go bad? At one
No,
point?
Luke. Well, he does, yeah, but like
Yeah.
he becomes a massively powerful Jedi. Like
That's right.
some of his
Did
skills
he find
are
Darth
awesome.
Vader's like glove and put it on or something like that? There's something about Darth Vader's remains in the
Yeah,
story
there's
as
something.
well. Can't remember exactly, but these stories were really good. They're really well made. People kind of wanted those to be.
yeah, the 8, the 7, 8, 9.
I guess the idea was that they were going to be 7, 8, and 9. But when these came out, we kind of thought that's what we were getting. and we realised
How wrong we were.
quickly we were
How
very
wrong we were.
fucking mistaken. We got this dude instead. His helmet don't even come off. Rip his head off. Yeah, I thought he was alright when he turns up, until he takes his mask off.
And he looks like an emo guy.
Yeah, he starts ranting and complaining and sort of bitching, and you kind of think, well, he's no Vader,
No,
you know.
Not even close, mate.
Should have just kept the helmet on to the very end,
Yeah.
really. That would have been a good... There is a fan edit out there called Heir to the Force, which is a much better version of it, where they basically just restructured the entire film and kept his mask on the whole way through,
Yeah, okay.
and cut out his temper tantrums. Absolutely. I liked the beginning of the film. I liked the crashed ships and the planets. I liked mooching about inside blown up Star Destroyers and that kind of stuff. That all looked really good. And then you get like Simon Pegg's character in there, and you're like, oh, this is a bit shit. It's a bit Phantom Menace again. You're like, they're making the same mistakes. Why are they doing that? And then Millennium Falcon just happens to fucking be there, and it's all a lot of coincidences in this film. Like Han and Chewie just happen to be there as well,
Yeah.
and
I will say,
yeah,
I shed a bit of a tear when like Han and Chewie got onto the Millennium Falcon.
yeah,
Chewie were home.
yeah.
I mean,
but then again,
that-
none of it makes
No,
sense.
it doesn't. But it pulled out the heartstrings a bit.
It did a bit, yeah. But yeah, nothing really makes a lot of sense. It wasn't very good. They killed Han Solo
They
off as well.
they-
I remember reading about that before it happened, thinking they're going to do that, but of course they were.
The
'Cause
ba-
Harrison Ford has been asking for his character to be killed ever since.
Empire Strikes Back, wasn't
Yeah, yeah. So he got his way. Once Lucas is gone, there's no one to stand up to Harrison Ford anymore. So that character's dead, man.
No, you don't say no to Harrison Ford, mate.
Nah,
Yeah.
well, he did.
Yeah, we
This
did.
is what I liked. That sort of dynamic worked, really. I mean, Lucas obviously was a stand-up guy, because he could tell an actor, no, this is my fucking thing. You're not getting your way.
Yeah.
But
And
obviously,
that's how it should be, to be
yeah,
honest
that
with
is
you.
how it should be. But
You know?
J.J. Abrams isn't going to do that.
Yeah,
is
but
he?
if you're an actor, you know, it's
Yeah.
a director's vision. You can have an input.
yeah,
but
but it's not your fucking choice.
No,
is
it is. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
it is his movie.
This is
you know?
it.
So,
This is it.
yeah, The Force Awakens, just a beat for beat remake of
Yeah.
amazingly better film, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. So I'm going to say there are tiny bits in this film that I quite liked on initial viewing, but I don't know. The more I don't watch these films, the more bad they appear in my head.
Did you ever hear
I don't
about the
know if that
story?
makes any
Did you ever
sense
hear about the
whatsoever.
story where it was going to be like Luke's hand was floating through space
Yeah.
with a lightsaber attached? Like after he lost it in
Oh,
Cloud
like,
City,
yeah,
he was
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
go,
Is that
Jeez.
what, is that the original?
That's how it was going to start.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. No, mate. we're not doing
Jesus
that.
Christ.
Yeah, how would that go about?
No.
Yeah. So we'll move on to the next one then. We've now finally put the sequel trilogy to bed. Done and dusted. For everyone, forever. No one need ever speak about it again now. We'll be the last video
You know
ever
the-
on YouTube
You know
to
the last
mention
bit in
those
the,
films.
do you know the last bit in like Raiders of the Lost Ark where they're putting it?
Yeah.
Well, we're
So
putting it in
that's
there,
all
mate.
going.
Yeah.
That's all going in there. Yeah. That's the end of it, man.
Right.
Right, so next we'll use the Force to bring in the next item, which will what's the word? Symbolise the next film we're talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Symbolise, man.
Whatever. Right. Wow. Okay, so what do we got? Oh, okay. It's
Darth Maul.
it's old pointy head again. Darth Maul. I used to hang out in a lot of like metal clubs.
I used to hang out with Darth Maul.
Yeah, I did. I used to hang out in a lot of like metal alternative like goth
What, and they all
clubs.
look like him?
A lot of them did look like him.
Okay.
To be fair, yeah, I hung out with a lot of people
Fair
like
play,
that
mate.
back in the early 2000s. He's a bit new metal, sort of alternative
Yeah.
looking, isn't he? I think.
He's a Zabrak.
Yeah. Well, I won't go that far. Anyway, so he symbolises. He doesn't symbolise a Phantom Menace, which I get. I bet that's what you all think.
Yeah.
No, calm down.
Yeah.
No, he symbolises a character, but he'd returned. So, obviously,
It's
it is number 7 in our list, which is Solo: A Star Wars Story.
Yeah.
So you want to make a difference?
Yeah.
Trust me, you're going to love it. And which branch are you interested in joining? Your name?
Yeah.
The first-
I've got to admit, straight off the bat, I quite like this film.
Yeah, okay.
Honestly,
So what did you like
It
about
was
it?
alright. It was like one of those kind of. It was kind of a heist film, wasn't it? Really.
Yeah.
It's a heist film. They're trying to rob a train. They're zooming about.
Yeah, but you don't need.
It's a bit of a western as well.
Yeah,
They're out in the desert eating bats like they did in Three Amigos.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
But you don't need a train. Right, you don't need a train
It's just
when you got spaceships.
It's just a beat by beat remake of the Three Amigos.
It
Hang
is,
on,
mate, yeah.
No. Chewie's in it as well. Of course, Chewie's in it. Lando Calrissian returns. Millennium Falcon's got that stupid bit on the front of it. which
Okay,
is
so how do
really-
you think the actors did in their roles?
Well, not too bad, really. I mean, Harrison Ford is a very difficult person to live up to. His portrayal of he is Han Solo.
He is,
Like, no one's ever going to play. It's like replacing Spock in Star Trek, which they did recently, and it didn't work for me.
It did not work.
So yeah, replacing someone like Han Solo. I mean, it has to be done if you're going to continue to make these films after the actors are dead. But it's never going to work for everyone, is it?
No.
I think they did as good a job as
As they
probably
could, yeah.
have done. You know, I mean, he was all right. The person playing him was like a younger, more insecure, not as toughened version of Han Solo.
But
I
it's
guess that's kind of what he
It's
would look
another
like.
story that you don't need.
Why? But Han Solo was a stormtrooper. Like
He was. I mean,
joined them a-
yeah. Even in his backstory, there
Yeah.
was like
was
So
did they
in his
allude to that?
backstory, he was like he joined the Empire,
Yeah,
and he saw like Chewie being handled,
yeah.
and he rescued
Is what's
Chewie.
in the film.
Yeah.
yeah.
And basically, then he left. You know,
Yeah.
left him. So then he became a smuggler.
But is that in any of the original?
No, but it was in one of the encyclopedias.
Was it?
Yeah.
When was that printed?
So that was printed when the Phantom Menace came out.
Oh, okay. So they've been working with that story for a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
I never really considered that Han Solo would be part of the Empire.
Because don't forget,
it never really.
Yeah, but don't forget, Luke was going to join the Empire. He was joining the Academy.
Oh, he was, wasn't he?
Yeah, so-
Shit, yeah, I never was going to think about it like that.
Yeah.
Blimey, okay. Yeah, so I guess it makes sense. I guess everyone had to either that or be killed. I
Yeah,
guess,
'cause
a bit like the Nazi Germany.
It
kind
could have been
of
a thing.
occupation.
It could have
you
been
know.
like conscription,
Yeah.
where like certain,
Kinda gotta
when
do
you
it.
get to a certain
Yeah,
age,
yeah.
you're conscripted into the Empire.
And here he is, look, a figure from that film, and because he's Han Solo, he's got one hand.
Yeah.
That's why they made this figure.
That's
like
why
that.
they called him Solo.
Yeah, because he's got the one. Look.
Yeah.
It's a good gag, isn't it?
It is, mate. Yeah,
This is more or less what he was wearing in the film.
yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. It's almost Harrison Ford, but it's not. This we should just use this for this. But here you go. Anyway, it's broken figure anyway of Han Solo. When was this from? This is from 2000. I can't read the bottom of the screen.
Oh Jesus, mate, you're
Try
asking
and read
me.
that.
No, I can't
Yeah,
read
yeah,
that either.
I don't know. It's an old figure anyway. This
So-
one. Darth Maul returning was a bit weird, wasn't it?
He does. I think he's like a member of the Crimson Dawn or something like that. Or like a criminal syndicate, Prince Xizor.
He
or
survives
stuff like that.
having his legs.
Yeah. He survived
off.
being cut in half,
Yeah.
and he's got like robotic legs now.
Yeah.
Um,
Robotic legs. But Woody Harrelson as well. I think the droid was a bit silly, perhaps.
Wasn't it Phoebe Waller-Bridge who voiced that?
I think
and
so,
she was the one that
yeah.
was killed off the Indiana Jones franchise as well.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She was. That was her. Yeah.
I see.
Damn you.
And, yeah.
Yeah, and Lando was getting it on with her.
That's right. Yeah, there's a weird thing going on between her and Lando, wasn't
Yeah.
there? Yeah, I don't know. I guess. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
You know.
yeah. Whatever
She
floats your boat,
becomes-
mate.
Yeah, she becomes part of the ship as well, isn't she?
We don't
So-
judge you.
Yeah, we don't judge that. It's fine. But yeah, she becomes part of the ship as well.
Yeah.
She's brought into that.
So
and
she's the computer that Han Solo's talking to, yeah. And
You're like giving everything in Star Wars its own story, its own backstory.
Yeah.
Even the furry dice have got like a.
They have, yeah.
got their own
Yeah.
backstory. There'll be a film made about. Somebody already joked about this already on the internet, but there'll be a film about the lamp. It happens to be in Cloud City.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The ice cream.
Everything,
That ice cream maker that bloke
Yeah,
runs
yeah,
it. Yeah.
everything will get its own Star Wars story.
Oh,
yeah.
yes, yeah.
But no, I didn't really mind this. I mean, there are elements of it a little bit like. There were a couple of elements of like Blade Runner at the beginning as well, the weird planet that he lives on.
Same with the
car
train as well.
and
Yeah, and
stuff.
yeah.
There's a lot of this
okay.
kind of thing going on. I guess they're going for that kind of like retro, futuristic thing at the same time. There's a bit of that in Solo, isn't there? I guess. But yeah, I mean, not ultimately a terrible film, not a great film either. Quite forgettable, I guess.
Yeah, and
It's
that's
probably its biggest crime.
yeah, better than this. It's obviously
But
just better than the sequel.
Praising it was better than the sequel.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
That's what we can say. It's a
Yeah, yeah,
forgettable
yeah.
film, but better than the sequels.
Yeah.
And that's why it goes in there.
that's why it's in where it is. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll move along.
Yeah.
I suppose. So at number 6, least worst or most worst least Star Wars film on our list is Episode 3.
Revenge of the Sith.
It's and this is what we have to represent.
We have a Wookiee.
So yeah, it's a dreadlock Chewie.
Yeah. Could be Tarful.
Is it Chewie or
Tarful, maybe?
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. The next chapter in the Star Wars saga.
This is where the fun begins.
Oh, this is going to be easy. Goodbye, old friend. May the Force be with you. You are the chosen one!
Holiday special.
Yeah, well, no, because his dad was like lumpy, or was his kid lumpy?
So is this lumpy or?
No, his dad was his kid was lumpy, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. He's got a cool feature. Look, he spins. Look,
Yes.
look at that. Isn't that wonderful? Weird figure, isn't it? Quite bulky.
Wookiees are that way.
Bulky.
Wookiees
Yeah, they are.
are.
They're known to be quite bulky,
They are.
aren't they? How close can we get it before it goes out of focus? We hide ourselves. That still doesn't work. So yeah, let's talk about. We probably should have used like a Darth Vader for this.
Yeah,
really.
or an Obi-Wan.
Or an Obi-Wan, but instead, we've got an Obi-Wan.
We have got an
There we
Obi-Wan.
go. Look, yeah, that'll do,
That is
wouldn't
from
it?
episode 3 as well.
That is Obi-Wan from episode 3. So yeah. I
What
don't
were
know.
your impressions of this one? Because it's like
Yeah.
my favourite. My favourite bit is the Emperor.
I shouldn't. Do it.
Ian McDermott just kills that as the Emperor.
He does. He does. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
just a brilliant performance. When he's getting off on Anakin's hate and stuff like that, it's like really cool. It's like, oh yeah,
Stitching him right up.
Yeah.
What he's doing.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you the story of Darth
Plagueis the Wise?
Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
His,
You heard that big sperm bubble, didn't you?
That's right.
That was
yeah.
like because there's a theory that Anakin was obviously conceived by the Force in
That's
Darth
right.
Sidious,
Did
manipulated
he just kind of
midichlorians
plant
to
him
do it.
there or
Yeah.
something? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That kind of works.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good things for it. I think I first saw this film as a bootleg.
Mm-hmm.
When a pirated DVD, I think it was. They've now made a joke of that because it was the Japanese one, which had the weird British subtitles on it. But they've got the subtitles back from the Japanese version, so none of it made any sense. And they've made a fan edit of that now, where they've redubbed it all.
Yeah, okay.
Game time started.
He is in my behind. Like reached the man. Good. Let us counterattack him. The disgusting thing came. Good kind of. Do you fuck on eye?
Good, you beat the inside.
Good kind of R2. I feel far from good.
In that language, it's just amazing. You've got to watch that one. I can't remember what it's called now, but I'll
Yeah.
just take a picture of it on screen. But it was. It wasn't as bad. It wasn't as bad as Attack of the Clones.
Have you
is what
seen
I
some?
remember the most.
Have you seen some of the deleted scenes of it?
Oh yeah, I've seen all
Yeah.
those.
Wow.
Yoda,
Wow.
landing on Dagobah.
Yeah,
and-
and there's also one where Anakin's talking to Obi-Wan and he's like interpreting what R2's saying. He's going 2 beats for like this.
Yeah.
Oh god,
Yeah.
it's shockingly bad.
Yeah, it's. I don't know.
It's not good.
Yeah.
It's. I think we were all waiting for the Obi-Wan Anakin fight, basically. That's what we were leading
Yeah,
up
I mean,
to.
I wasn't even waiting for that. I was just
Were you
waiting,
not?
I was just waiting to see how he becomes, Vader.
Were you disappointed with how he became Vader?
It was all a bit like he was sulky and moody through the first two. And you kind of think, well, he's got potential to turn bad.
Yeah.
And then in this film, he sort of does it all in 10 minutes at the end. He goes from being reasonably rational to killing a bunch of children.
Yeah.
It's quite quick.
It is
Quite a quick transformation. It didn't take a lot
Yeah.
to convince him.
No, he kills Mace Windu,
Yeah.
or he chops off Zansari.
It just
and,
made me feel like the whole, all 3 of those films have been kind of badly structured and not very well thought out. Really. Yeah.
Yeah.
It all could have been done a bit better, but people like it. People like this film.
People think that this
People
is the
look
best
back
of the
on it-
prequels.
People
yeah.
look back on it with very nostalgic goggles. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
They talk about it as a love story and. all kinds of things.
I know, like
Yeah.
there's no chemistry between him and Natalie Portman. I don't think.
No, not really.
You know, there's no like, you know, even when they fall in love in
Yeah.
Attack of the Clones, it's like, it's, you know, George, pitched it as a Romeo and Juliet. It's even more soppy than that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like, I know it's hindsight and we can look back on it.
Yeah.
It could have been done a hell of a lot better.
It could have been, and even the bit where he's being actually, medically turned into Darth, he's been put in the Darth Vader suit. Even that looks pretty fucking shoddy, with the mask coming down. He's like CGI'd in face.
And that's the whole thing.
It
it can't be just
It all
that.
looks like a computer game cutaway of a lot of the CGI and stuff.
And
at
that's
this point.
one of the things about it. Like, they
Yeah.
built Anakin up. Instead of Anakin just being a Jedi Knight and a powerful Force user, he was the one. He was the chosen one. It's
Yeah,
like-
what was that all come from? Either
and it's
that
like-
was never like announced by
Yeah, and
Obi-Wan in the first one, was it?
And
Never.
it's almost like, like the mask coming down. It's style over substance.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
And it's like, it's got to be, and then when he gets up and he goes, no!
Yeah, that whole Frankenstein's monster scene,
Yeah.
man. Also, I mean, Obi-Wan was always very factual. Oh, Anakin was just somebody who betrayed and murdered your father. It wasn't like, they didn't say he was the chosen one who was going to bring order to the resistance,
space-
and then he did
yeah,
this.
he was
which
space
I feel
Jesus,
Like,
yeah.
I feel like he might have mentioned that in A New Hope,
Yeah, I know
if that
that.
was the case.
Yeah.
But no, he just says, no, he was a pupil who fucking screwed him over, man.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, and they should have gone with that more, really. Going with the whole Space Jesus thing was a bit of a shit move, really.
I think me and you come up with a better idea in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, of how like to promote, like, Obi-Wan says in A New Hope, your uncle didn't want you to have a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Because you'd follow old Obi-Wan on some sort of idealistic crusade like your father did.
Yeah.
And it could have been Anakin, could have been like left the Jedi Order to start a family. And then he got pulled back into service by Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
During the
That
war.
would have been better, wouldn't it?
And then like the family, like,
Yeah.
like, the war hit the Tatooine or wherever he came from. And like his family were killed, and then he started to slowly like lose.
He
it.
could have been injured in war gradually. He could have lost an arm and carried on. He could have lost a leg, and then could have eventually become more and more machine and got more and more like a Cyberman. Got more and more twisted and.
And I was watching
fucked up over it.
the X-wing Battle of A New Hope
Yeah.
the other day, and people say, oh yeah, but we don't know the characters, so you're still invested in the characters of A New Hope.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing it through Luke's eyes.
That's right.
And it would have been good if you could like write the characters better in the prequels, so you actually cared when the Jedi got purged.
Yeah.
It's like Order 66. You see Cayenne when you go down,
Yeah.
Cocoon and all of that, and it means nothing. It's like if you saw it through like, if you saw them actually being like good people and like being moral people, then it would hit more. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just they're just facsimiles of people.
So there we go. I mean, also the whole Leia's mum dying in childbirth, but Leia can remember her mum.
She's not. She's not got the will to live anymore. You've just had 2 kids.
There's so many. Yeah, right. What about those poor fuckers?
Yeah,
But there's so many inconsistencies with it.
Yeah.
That's part of the problem, isn't it? He boxed himself into a corner where he had to make these 3 films, had to really fucking make them count, and also they had to match up to the original ones. And let's not forget that like science fiction films, the fans are going to be fairly nerdy. They're going to do their research. They're going to explore every single detail. They're not going to let it fucking slip that a line doesn't match another line.
And also,
so you're kind of screwing yourself a little bit.
And also, we all grew up on Star Wars.
Yeah.
So it's
that as well.
ingrained into us as well.
Yeah.
You know?
So there we go. So that was that. Do we need to talk more about it?
Yeah, just say the Emperor was brilliant. Ian McDermott, absolutely brilliant performance as the Emperor. I loved him.
So now that brings us on. I've just noticed the time. This video might be even longer than the last one. I'll edit it all down. I'll take out everything we say and just put pinpoints in it. Make it 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But anyway, we get down to number 5 here now. And number 5, well, I'll use the Force to bring something in, and that will let us know what the film will be. Even though you can probably guess. Okay, yeah. Fuck.
So Jim Jam Bonks.
It's fucking nightmarish vision for you right there. Should we turn him on?
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to turn him on.
He's embarrassing.
Okay, so I think he's run out of batteries, but he suppresses his hand and he speaks. He's a clock, actually.
Is he?
Believe it or not, he's a talking alarm clock. Imagine this fucking thing stood by your bed, his face peering into you in the morning, telling you it's time to get up.
You would get up, wouldn't you?
Fucking is.
You would
yeah,
get up,
yeah,
mate.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
isn't he a thing of beauty, man? This guy here, he kind of ruined Star Wars for everybody for a little while. Didn't
He ruined everybody's childhood, mate.
Ruined everyone's childhood. Do people like him now?
What, Jim Jambon?
Do people look back on him with fondness?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Anyhow,
So,
The Phantom Menace.
yeah, The
Yeah.
Phantom Menace.
Rated PG.
Massive hype for this
Yeah.
film.
He's a prankster, look. He's done that whole nail through the finger
Yeah.
thing, look. Look, see? Clever as Jar Jar Binks.
You know, everybody jumped on the hype train.
Yeah.
It was, geez, it was like the first Star Wars film in 20 years, I guess, wasn't it? Something
It
like
was. Everyone was very excited
Yeah.
about it.
that. And then we watched it,
Yeah.
and we went, "Oh God!"
To quote the line from every Star Wars film, I had a bad feeling about it.
But how's he gonna pay for all of this?
I have 20,000 battle droids.
You better be Ota.
I have 20,000 midichlorians.
No.
I have Jar Jar Binks.
What?
I have many Gungans.
Nah.
I have 1,000 terrible things.
No battle to double.
I can see there's no fooling.
I went to
Yeah.
the cinema to watch this movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, and as you say, with the atmosphere of the cinema and all that,
Yeah.
I come away thing, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. Then you watch it again.
Yeah. You watch it again. And,
Okay. There is a theory that this is a Darth. So basically, Jar Jar was a Sith Lord all throughout it. All throughout the films, yeah.
Oh, like he was the guy.
He was the guy
manipulating
manipulating
it.
everything.
And don't they give him the decision? Don't they give
What, to
Reading
create
the
the army?
Lucasfilm Limited. Like, I never see that anymore. Really.
To create the army.
Disney now. It all
Yeah.
says. Yeah, didn't they give him the decision? Oh, sorry, I was reading the back of his horribly sunburnt prawn-like neck. But yeah, didn't they give him the decision to hand the Senate over?
Yeah.
So kind of all is.
Yeah.
Jar Jar Binks.
It is his fault. Yeah.
Yeah. Visa fucked up Star Wars. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
So
But yeah, we all quote him. We all remember
do.
him. We've always been very
yeah,
fond
he's
of him.
memorable. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
So, why have we put this so high?
Why have we put this so high? I guess because it's, as you said earlier on, it's probably the most Star Warsy.
It feels more Star Wars than Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
And the Revenge of the Sith for some reason.
Also, we had some.
That's Yoda dead.
Also, we had some fantastic merchandise
yeah.
to go with this, like this new Star Wars Phantom Menace Episode 1 watch. It can be yours now for free if you want it. No, not really. I'm going to keep it.
Yeah.
But yeah, look at that. Look, isn't that a collector's item? Like one of those things people are going to be shooting each other for years in the future.
So
possibly not. Possibly not. I don't know. Do you want a 3PO watch? A half-formed 3PO watch?
No, mate, no.
Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader made C-3PO. Who would have thought it?
He did.
Who would have thought that would be a thing?
That's why I didn't destroy. That's why I didn't destroy him in Cloud City, mate.
That's none of it makes any sense. Does
Right.
It? It's all so silly.
I will.
So silly. Yeah.
I will rationalise my thinking.
Yeah, he put this here.
About putting
I
it
didn't
that
put
high.
This high up.
Now, the reason I put this so high, right, is because of two things:
Mm-hmm.
Darth Maul, right,
Mm-hmm.
and Liam Neeson's performance as Qui-Gon Jinn.
Liam Neeson. It all comes down to Liam Neeson.
It does all come down to
doesn't
Liam
it?
Neeson.
Yeah.
Always, I thought it was a powerhouse performance by him.
Yeah.
Maybe because there is talk that the actual first script was just having Obi-Wan as the sort of Qui-Gon character, and he finds Anakin and stuff like that. That might work better.
Yeah.
But I did like Liam Neeson in it. But I can see why people say he might have been a redundant character because you could have had Obi-Wan doing that stuff.
You
know?
could have, yeah. Yeah. And I
Um,
thought they would bring him back a bit more as a Force Ghost.
Yeah.
Like, for the rest of it. Even in the sequel trilogy, I thought he might turn up at some point, but he sort of didn't, really.
But yeah.
Bit of a waste, really. A waste of Liam Neeson. Yeah.
In Darth Maul, Ray Park did an absolutely stunning job. I mean, his martial arts skills are like phenomenal.
Yeah.
Seeing that like sort of demonic like face, you know, and
Yeah.
double bladed lightsaber was pretty cool. But other than that, mate, there was nothing to like about the Phantom.
Wasn't he voiced by
Peter
Serafinowicz? So Peter Serafinowicz didn't do the martial arts stuff.
No.
He wasn't playing.
Ray Park did the martial arts,
I guess
and
so.
yeah.
But Peter Serafinowicz, you would recognise him from stuff like Spaced, things like Space, all kinds of like comedy. He had his own comedy sketch show, which is really good as well.
But yeah, I mean, the kid, you can't blame him basically. I mean,
it's not Annie's fault.
It's not little Annie's fault. No, it's not.
No, it's
Don't make me destroy you.
The trouble is, the cast looked really good for it because you have Brian Blessed in it, and everybody thought, "Fucking Brian Blessed, man!" You know,
Oh.
and he played like I was going to say Boss Hogg, but that's
He played Boss Hogg. Yeah.
Boss Nass.
You, sir, cannot be here. This army of mechanics up there is you we saw.
A droid army is about to attack the Nab. A droid army is about. A droid army is about to attack. About to attack.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking like Flash Gordon-esque type of, you know, thing, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's nothing really good to say about the Phantom Menace except just the
That's where the under the water people.
Yeah, the Gungans or the Gungas.
And there's that silly like even in that whole like battle at the end with the what's his race called?
The Gungans.
The Gungans.
Yeah.
Gungans?
Yeah, Gungans.
Yeah. Even the race with them.
Gungan, mate.
Even the yeah. Get your head out the
Yeah.
but yeah, even at the end, the big battle with them and the droids.
Yeah.
They're even doing the whole Benny Hill bit there, aren't they? With,
Yeah.
with him running around.
Yeah,
making
doing
a
that,
twat out
like,
of himself.
slapstick.
That's-
Yeah.
Yeah, like the droids.
God,
Like the
Jesus.
droid factory thing
Yeah.
again. Yeah. I mean, this is probably as bad as Attack of the Clones, probably quite easily. Attack of the Clones might even be better on a rewatch. I don't know, man. I don't want to rewatch them. That's the problem here. But I think this just has some kind of weird nostalgia goggled reason that we rate it higher than the other two. It's probably not.
It's not.
Probably not.
It's
Why are we rating this higher than
it's better than
than Revenge of the Sith? Why is this better than Revenge of the Sith, man? How is this better than Revenge of the Sith?
because of Liam Neeson.
Just because of Liam Neeson?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, okay. I believe you. Thousands wouldn't. So we move on to fourth place. Now that's quite high, isn't it? What could possibly be number 4? So I'll do the whole Force thing again. We'll find out. And here we go. So
It's Finn, a stormtrooper story.
yeah, that's the film we're waiting for. Isn't
We
it?
are.
So yeah, it's an original Stormtrooper. I found this in a bag of garbage in Burnt House Lane. It's a place in Exeter, if you didn't know. But yeah, someone was throwing away a load of old toys and they had Matrix figures in there. I looked through it and this Stormtrooper was there. An original 1977 figure.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Wonder where he is.
Did you
tell me where he comes from, what variant he is.
Did you army build back in the day, mate?
No, I never really did that. Well, actually, I did probably have a bunch of these because my dad owned a shop, and so he gave me all these Star Wars figures. There were like loads of them.
Okay.
So I probably had a bunch of Stormtroopers back then. Hard to even find one now because everyone's fucking army building them.
Yeah.
All these collectors are like, I don't want anyone else having one of these.
Well,
I'm gonna
500 Stormtroopers, yeah.
That makes it easier to locate them all, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Fucking hell. Everyone just have one and let
Yeah.
your mate have
Yeah,
one as
yeah.
well. You know, it can be fair. You know, you don't need fucking 5. You can just have one. It's fine. That's how collecting should be done,
It is,
right?
yeah.
No one should be out there with fucking 6 fucking blue snaggletooths or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Hoarding them.
Yeah, just one each, man. Share with your friends and your brothers and all that.
Be
you know?
more
Come on.
hippie.
Come on, man.
Share.
Come on. It needs, Sunny and
Share the love, mate. Share the
Share
love.
and share alike.
You push out the jive, you bring in the love.
What are we even fucking talking about anymore? So So this is so hang on. So this is number 4 in the list of worst Star Wars films. The list of worst to best Star Wars films. This is number 4. This is Rogue One. That's all we've got to represent it.
A Star Wars story.
Go out and buy the Blu-rays.
We've a mission for you.
Ready? May the Force be with us.
Rated PG-13. Get your tickets now.
So yeah, Rogue One, a Star Wars story. What can we say about this film?
Another story that didn't need to be told, but was
coming this summer.
Yes,
a story that never needed to be told.
Starring Charlton Heston.
Yeah, you know that bit at the beginning of A New Hope. Well, this is what led to that bit. Yeah, okay. I mean, everything leads to something, doesn't it?
Yeah. So
you know, do you have to make a film about it though?
Right. So
that's the question.
My reasons are basically for putting this so high, and not actually anything to do with Star Wars. It's because I'm a big admirer of Donnie Yen, who plays one of the characters in it. He's an exceptional martial artist. Go watch it.
Okay, I know who you mean.
And he's in it. Yeah. And I do have a soft spot for Felicity Jones as well.
Felicity Jones.
Yeah, she plays Jinner, so.
Oh, okay.
So she's the main character.
So you like one of the martial artists and you fancy the other one.
Yeah,
that's why it's here.
Yeah, that's why it's there.
Above all these films.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
So
a good story.
I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this. We took my daughter to the cinema to watch it when she was an infant. It was one of those bring your babies to the thing to watch. So there's nothing else on, so we thought, all right, let's go and do this new Star Wars thing. I didn't have high expectations about it.
No, neither did I.
But it started a bit like a Quentin Tarantino film. It started like Inglourious Bastards or something, where you got the guys looking for the person in the the farmer and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That beginning bit was very kind of like Tarantino-esque. I thought this is quite interesting.
I think they also got the aesthetic. Yeah. They got the aesthetic really well.
Yeah.
Down, you know.
The look was good.
The look,
absolutely. Yeah. I guess Solo kind of ruined this slightly because with this you could imagine there'd be a bunch of fairly interesting standalone movies that could relate to Star Wars, but I guess Solo kind of killed that slightly.
The only bits I didn't like is when they did fan service to Dr. Evazan and Ponda Baba on Jeddah, I think was the planet. You know.
Yeah.
And they park Star Destroyer just above, right? Just in the atmosphere, just above, like the town. Why don't they do that on Hoth and stuff like that?
It's a good fucking point, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, if you can go to the go into the atmosphere with
that, why would you be doing that all along?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was cast all right. You know, it's done well. There's some nice little good standout moments where they give the speech and make 10 men feel like 100 and stuff like that. I like that.
Fairly serious overtone.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
There wasn't any stupid.
No, there was only Alan Tudyk did the voice of K3SO, is it?
Okay.
He did the droid.
Oh no, there was tomfoolery.
Yeah, there was
the Imperial droid, but he was fairly funny.
He was. A bit
Richard
Iyadoki. Yeah. But it was Alan Tudyk who did the voice.
Tudyk, that's a good name. Yeah.
We all wanted Tudyk.
R2D. Yeah. That's right.
Right. And yes, a really good story. Done really well. Ballsy move at the end. Spoilers to kill them all off.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and then you have Vader turn up to get the plans and that whole. But also it looks silly because you've got him doing all these amazing moves, and then that goes into episode 1 where then you see him and Obi-Wan. Yeah, then you see him and Obi-Wan fighting.
Yeah, and it's like
what happened in that short space of time?
Well, they're older. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, so you got the weird. I think this is the one with the Tarkin. This is the one thing that I don't like about the.
That's right. They brought back Peter Cushing from Beyond the Grave.
Yeah, and they did the same with Carrie Fisher. I didn't think it worked.
It works better for Carrie Fisher than it did for Peter Cushing, I think.
Yeah, only because you see more of Peter Cushing.
Peter Cushing looks a bit like like Scar from The Lion King or Shere Khan. He's got like a sort of Disney villain look about him.
They got the guy. You know what I mean?
They
got the guy from Hobie City to do the mocap.
Yeah. But it's the way it's kind of done. It
looks.
Again, it's a bit like a cutaway from a computer game.
It does
a little bit.
It does.
But I mean, it's amazing what you can do with technology. I mean,
But
they did quite a grand job.
But
considering what they did with the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Yes.
Where you see Peter Cushing's character in that kind of walking away.
But that was a guy in
Obviously,
makeup.
The technology wasn't quite there at this point. But I think they did a fairly good job on it. Really,
it was a fair job considering what. Yeah, but you can never maybe shoot it from behind. Have like somebody do his voice or something like that. Same with Carrie Fisher. You could have just had her from behind and stuff.
It's caught us on our tracks, isn't it? So but it's a good film, right? It's all right.
Yeah,
it's not as bad as some of the other ones we've mentioned.
Did you see the Spanish version? It was called Rogue One.
Rogue One. Rogue One. It's quite good. Yeah, I like that. And you got the original Stormtroopers again, which I like. Yeah. I didn't really like the whole motorcycle helmet versions from the sequel films.
Yeah, they were weird, mate.
Yeah.
Director Krennic was a good character, to be honest.
Yeah.
Darth Vader, seeing him in his back to tank and all that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, the bit at the end is what everybody goes on about.
Yeah.
All the fans were like, Jesus Christ, look at this. Perhaps that's how it should have been. And it is, but it is a little bit misleading when it goes into A New Hope.
But then they made a series called And Or, which was shit. I mean, people like it. I mean, people like, I say personally, I thought it was shit. It's not that it's shit, but...
Yeah, Diego Luna.
But I wasn't a big fan.
And
anyway,
Trevor from EastEnders was in that.
Trevor and Paul as well from EastEnders. What's he called? Paul Truman was also in it.
Oh yeah.
Very first. It's just EastEnders really.
Yeah.
It's an EastEnders prequel.
EastEnders After Dark.
Yeah. But yeah, they kind of made a series out of Rogue One, didn't they? Now.
Yeah.
So there's that. We'll talk a bit about that stuff. So we'll move on now. Force Power. I think we can all guess what's coming next. Well, hey, and what do we have here? We've got a video look. Our first video of the video. There we go. So, what have we got here?
This is Return of the Jedi.
Return to a galaxy far, far away.
Here we go again.
Return for the thrill. Return for the adventure.
Chewie!
But most of all, return for the fun of it. Return of the Jedi.
Starts Friday at a theater near you. Consult your local listings.
We've got Return of the Jedi look. It says it includes exclusive George Lucas interview. But it's in.
Is that him on the back?
That's George Lucas being interviewed right there. I hate these posters. This was so shit.
Rubbish poster.
This was the last time these three films were ever released before they got the special edition treatment.
Yeah.
Their final time of VHS. Look what they've done. For a start, you've got Han Solo from The Empire Strikes Back. If you notice.
Yeah.
It's just awful, isn't it?
Leia Brakini.
Awful poster, man. No imagination's gone into that at all. What's on the inside? Look at that. Nostalgia. You've got Yoda there, look. And right inside here, look, other titles you can get. You can also get the Power Rangers movie and Miracle on 34th Street.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Baby's Day Out. That's right, and Mrs. Doubtfire. Perfect. You should just review these films instead, really. But so here we go. Return of the Jedi. What are we going to say about this film then, exactly?
Yeah. So, 2 films in one almost, isn't it? It's like the first half of the film is basically dealing with Han or rescuing Han from Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
And then it's basically, they've built another Death Star. Let's get on with it. Let's blow this one up as well.
So you've got the ending from the first film pretty much repeated at the end of it. But you've also got the whole redemption thing with Darth Vader.
Yeah,
and,
I think that's what carries the story.
That really does. And Luke's struggle internally as well with having to kill his dad
and
whatever.
Also the sort of the behind the scenes is a really interesting thing about this.
Yeah.
Because some of it they were going to it was going to be that they were going to go to the heart of the Empire on Coruscant and lay siege to that, and then But there was also another thing where Luke was actually going to turn to the dark side.
That's right. They were going to call
He's
it
gonna-
Revenge of the Jedi.
Yeah,
weren't they?
and he was going to put on
Yeah.
like his Darth Vader helmet, his dad's helmet.
That's right,
And
that
go,
was-
I am now Darth Vader.
Yeah, that was an idea.
Um,
And another one saw Luke just walk away
Mm.
at the end as well. That was
Yeah.
another edit, well, another
Yeah.
early idea, wasn't it? To have him just walk away. And
So yeah,
just, you know,
it was
yeah.
it was Revenge of the Jedi first, but George Lucas rightly pointed out that a Jedi would not take revenge. So it's Return of the Jedi.
So
So
Return was good anyway.
um,
Loved this film as a kid.
Yeah, me too.
Obviously, you got Jabba the Hutt right here behind us, the lovely Jabba the Hutt
Yep.
playset. He was great.
he was.
There's a lot in this film.
It was brilliant to see, like, because you heard all this talk about Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
Who is this guy?
That's it. You
You know,
finally get
and
to
you
meet
finally
him.
get to meet
and,
Jabba the
and
Hutt.
you get the proper emperor as
Yeah.
well. You see him, old monkey eyes,
Mm-hmm.
old chimp eyes in The Empire Strikes Back, but you get to see the proper deal in Return of the Jedi. I mean, it was great, really. I love the Emperor's dignitaries as well.
What, the one with the yeah.
The
You love that one.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
I love all that stuff. It's so silly. Like, who are these guys? Do they just like sit around playing poker?
Yeah,
like,
they're
following-
basically sycophants, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like Emperor sycophants.
It's interesting.
Brilliant Star Wars moments in it. I love the bit where Luke is telling Leia about, like, the Force is strong in my family.
There's a lot of Leia and her slave girl on this cover, actually.
Yeah.
They're going for that.
They are.
Yeah. It's also another big, like, Star Wars talking point, wasn't it?
I will also, because they never made a figure of her.
They never did. They wouldn't dare. The parents would have gone mental.
And everybody went.
They
Everybody
got
went.
away with it in the film. That's probably good enough.
Everybody went apeshit for that, right?
Yeah.
And went, God, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But when she turns around in The Empire Strikes Back,
Yeah.
for the first time when you see her,
Yeah.
I would say that's more of a sexy scene than that. to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. Always big fan of Princess Leia.
Also, we talked about the Ewoks.
It's like the elephant in the room. The
Yeah.
Ewok, the Ewok in the room. We'll discuss that.
But also,
Yeah.
the original idea was going to be on the Wookiee planet of Kashyyyk. And that would have worked better.
That's right, because they revisited that for Attack of the
Yeah,
Clones later on.
they did. And it was like, so I think that would have worked better. I know apparently
Did the holiday special ruin that?
Yeah, yeah. Holiday special ruined a lot of stuff.
Did they think maybe let's not have more Wookiees?
Yeah, maybe.
Because too many of them look silly.
Yeah, and watching porn and stuff like that.
Yeah. And
it's not a good look, mate.
Music videos by Starship.
Yeah. Always a bad idea.
Yeah. But yeah, the Ewoks. I mean, yeah.
I think it was meant to be George's idea of like Vietnam, where like a small
tribe take down a
mighty
empire.
Yes,
absolutely.
But it did make like when the Emperor goes, I've got a legion of my finest troops down there, and then they get blitzed by those Ewoks.
That's your best, mate.
Yeah, all right, mate. Yeah, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah,
this is it.
I think
can't even shoot straight.
People go on about like Shatner and the Star Trek stuff. People go on about Mark Hamill's acting, but I thought he did a really good job as Luke.
Solid. Yeah, we all loved them all as kids.
Yeah.
There's no fault in any of them.
No, especially when he's getting tempted by the Emperor and stuff like that.
Although people weren't really picking films apart quite as much back then. Anyway, I don't think.
Everybody's a critic now, mate.
Everyone, idiots on their YouTube channels deciding what's best.
Yeah. Who are they?
Yeah, fuck them, man.
Yeah.
But we didn't talk much shit about it back then. It was these films were good. They came out. We were happy they came out. I mean, even like stuff like Willow, I loved growing up as well. Which was,
Dark fantasies, though,
that
wasn't
was Lucas's next big thing, wasn't it? Willow was going to be the next big.
Yeah.
Big after
Didn't
Star
turn out like that, though, did it?
And the Ewoks movies.
Yeah, this led into the Ewoks movies
and the cartoon.
And I remember Mum bringing back from the video store.
Yeah.
The caravan of is it caravan of garbage or caravan of what?
Garbage. In fact, I'll go and get it. Hang on.
Yes.
Keep talking about Ewoks a minute.
Okay.
Yeah. Right in our cupboard here.
Yeah.
Just gonna break the
our Aladdin's cave.
Break our video up a little bit. Let's try and sit back. There we go. Look at these. I'll show these off in this video as well.
So that is the cartoon Ewoks as well.
Yeah.
So there was like a
from 1983. Actually, this is from Return of the Jedi.
Oh really?
1983.
Is that deleted scenes? Is it?
This is merchandise from Return of the Jedi. Ewok napkins, man. Yeah. Everyone wants one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you've got them, mate.
I've got them.
Yeah.
Save these for.
And you've hoarded them as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
Basically.
Look at that. You'll never see it again.
Yeah.
Unless you go and buy some, I don't know.
So yeah, there were two Ewok films, wasn't there?
There were Caravan of Courage, also just known as an Ewok adventure.
Yes.
Some
Wilford Brimley?
places.
Was it Wilford Brimley? Was he in one of them?
Stetter and Son.
Yeah. That's him.
Yeah. Then there was callous little breeder. And then there was
pie.
Then there was what was the next one? Battle for Endor.
Battle for Endor.
It had a bit of a Return of a Jedi feel. Like it had some actually very similar looking aliens from Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
Reusing costumes.
So, what do you think of the special edition singing of Return of the Jedi? It's like
why weren't there special editions of Battle for Endor?
We're making it. We're going to make it.
We'll make those. Yeah, we'll just make some droids go past.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, the special edition where he put in Jedi rocks or whatever, and the song.
That was awful, man. I like Nut. Was it called originally?
Oh, Yub Nub was the ending song.
That's the Ewok song.
Yub Nub.
So what was the song?
Yub Nub.
Yeah.
Right.
That was great as well.
I think it was Jedi Rocks.
Jedi Rocks. Yeah. So replacing those two songs was a bad fucking move for me, man. So we'll talk about the special editions now. Then. So in the 90s, these films got brought back. This is the last time this was released on VHS. They were brought back in 1997 as special editions and shown all over the cinemas. Big theatrical release. I went to see them. We all collected the Tazos and whatever, and bought the Power of the Force figures. They were awful. At the time, we thought they were quite interesting, but no, fuck those, man. What did they do? So they replaced the Pit of Sarlacc, the Great Pit of Sarlacc. They gave it a beak.
It was like a Little Shop of Horrors type of thing, wasn't it?
They gave it a fucking beak. Took away all the mystery of that.
Yeah, but that's because the Sarlacc originally looked like a.
I know what you're going to get. I haven't really thought about it.
Female appendage?
I dug one in the garden though when I was a kid.
Oh, nice one, mate.
Your toys into, you know. Yeah.
I'm glad you put your toys into it.
They were, you don't want that slowly digested over 1,000 years, do you? What other special edition shit do they put in
they
this?
changed the dialogue of Han when he's shooting. And the Sarlacc pit's got the
and the ending
tentacle.
The ending, they made the celebration ending bit.
Yeah, because they showed like Coruscant and like Cloud City and all.
And then
that.
later on, they did Sebastian Shaw.
Yeah, and they changed him for Hayden. Oh
yeah,
god,
that was fucking terrible, man.
Because he looks creepy still. Like he just looks creepy.
He's still bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he work for the BBC? What?
Yeah. But yeah, so they kind of ruined this with special edition again. To get the original, this isn't the original.
No.
Well, actually, no, it is. It is.
The poster, right?
Yeah, the poster certainly isn't. It's fucking terrible, isn't it? Diabolic. But the final. So they fucked it all up. But it was a good. It's probably the least best of the original trilogy because of like things
because
like
of the high
Ewoks
because of the high stat. Yeah.
And also Han Solo's character being slightly dumbed down as well.
Yeah.
And being jealous of Luke and stuff. It all felt a bit kind of.
And also like they wanted to soften Leia as well.
Yeah, they did,
she was a bit too much like bitchy in the
first. Too feisty. She's less feisty in this one. Yeah. So they kind of did a lot of things.
And the Ewoks braided her hair.
They did.
You know, it's like
pretty handy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I used to go to them.
I know, yeah.
They fucked it up. They did that to it in the end. So I just stopped going. But yeah, so I don't know. So what can we say? Not much more to say about Return of the Jedi. I love the toys, obviously. The last toys they ever brought out were the 1985, what they called again, the last 17 whatever, Power of the Force they were called, those final ones. They came with collector coins.
Yeah.
And Han Solo and Carbonite, man.
That is your holy grail,
man. My grail, man. After getting Jabba, I need that.
Is that how you want to go, in Carbonite?
Yeah, why not?
I'll put you in Carbonite.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? It's a good way to go out, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, be in the churchyard in Carbonite.
yeah.
That's alright. You can do that. Yeah, why not? Why not? Okay, so anyway, that's that.
That's it. Return of the Jedi, class film. Go watch it.
So it brings us to number 2 in the list. I think we can. Actually, it could be one or two things, couldn't it?
I think they're going. I think they will guess wrong.
We're going to go with.
I think they would, because this is controversial.
So using the Force. We have this. So we're going with Empire Strikes Back as again, this poster's awful. Look at Han Solo's face.
The Star Wars saga continues with a special return engagement. The Empire Strikes Back. Han Solo is back.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
Princess Leia is back.
I just assumed it's a Wookiee.
I can arrange that.
Yoda is back. In fact, the whole gang is back.
Join me.
The Empire Strikes Back. Rated PG.
Wait for me!
Returning to your galaxy Friday.
Just drink that in. right there. Look at that. Jesus, man.
Yeah.
In fact, there's some beautiful posters for Empire Strikes Back, and they went with this.
The first
video. We've got the inside again. Same thing again.
same.
Oh yeah, same thing as the last one. Lovely nostalgia though. Chewbacca on the video this time. And not a speck of mould on these because they're not actually that old. They're from like 1996.
I love the first poster of Empire Strikes Back. Absolutely stunning.
Darth Vader was up like.
Yeah, and you had Luke on the Tauntaun and stuff
yeah,
like that.
that was a
Really,
beautiful
really cool.
thing, wasn't it? A beautiful thing. Not like this. Yeah. But
Can we just say how beautiful Carrie Fisher looked there?
She does look good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this film had a lot going for it. Really, honestly, some great stuff. I mean, you talk. You know what's special about this film to you?
There is loads. It's like it added to the lore of the first one. It just made everything better and bigger, and it's just a really it's almost a perfect movie.
Yeah,
it's put together so well. Like every beat follows the following beat, obviously, but it just all it's the stories go off in different directions, but they converge at the end point as well.
Yeah,
so it's like
they go off on their own separate story and then meet back around.
It's.
I mean, its structure was a amazing thing for Hollywood, but it was also an undoing at the same time. It was a triumph and a curse in the way that it was one of the first kind of films to not really have a beginning, middle, or end. Kind of changing the structure of how kind of films were made almost. The critics kind of panned it for that reason at the beginning, but now it kind of spawned a lot of films that did that. It kind of created the whole like trilogy as the trilogies are done now, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't think they really existed this way before. Like
No,
it was
they
kind of so as a standalone film, I think people had a problem with it. But once
people had a lot of problems.
Once Return of the Jedi came along and it all sandwiched itself in together and became this wonderful kind of like trilogy thing.
So
I guess that kind of made it all okay.
So that's why people go, this is probably the best sequel of all time.
Yeah.
But it's not quite a sequel. It's like a middle. It's a middle part of a free structure play, I guess.
It's the middle. Where you think all is lost.
Yeah.
Curtain goes down. What's going to come? You know, in the final act, what's going to happen?
Yes, because you have the euphoria of the New Hope at the end. They blown up, and then the end. Obviously, the eponymous Empire Strikes Back. You know, and it's like you put all our heroes in like a really bad situation by the end of it.
They also gave the episode 5 thing at the beginning of it, and then they went back a year or so later and stuck that on Star Wars. So Star Wars didn't have the episode thing originally; it was just called Star Wars. This is where they started to kind of decide that they're going to make a thing out of it. So it also goes back to Alan Dean Foster as well. Splinter of the Mind's Eye, which is a book. So Alan Dean Foster ghost wrote the original novel of Star Wars that came out after the first film. And so George Lucas thought he did an amazing job with that, so he asked him to come up with a sequel. And the idea was, come up with a sequel that will be cheap and easy to film, and then if the first film fails, then we can make this into the sequel and do that. But if the first film makes a lot of money, then I've got my other plans, which are to do this, Empire Strikes Back and do the whole thing he wanted to do. So he did have a fallback plan for if Star Wars was going to fail, and that was Splinter of the Mind's Eye, which I'll stick on the screen.
He did.
If you would get bored, have a read. It's not very good, but it's interesting at the same time.
It is.
Because Luke and Leia aren't related in this, and they kill Darth Vader and stuff. Big spoilers there. But this just
you don't need to read it now.
But yeah, it kind of rounds everything off really in that one sequel. But I'm glad Star Wars did well, and we got The Empire Strikes Back. Of course, this is a far better film than Splinter of the Mind's Eye would have ever been. I think. Of course, that's amazing.
Directed by Irvin Kershner. Yes.
Yeah. And introducing this dude here.
I beg to differ.
Oh well, he at Star Wars Holiday Special introduced him. Yeah, that's like a teaser for him. But it wasn't him in all his grandness. No. But here he is, look, with his rocket pack, his still firing rocket pack, and
And it shows what you can how you can create a
look
character
through
with mystery.
the hole in the back and see through the hole in the back and look through his eye, a bit like the $6 Million Man figure.
Yeah.
This is cool. 1979 this came out. Another one of the they made a few Star Wars 12-inch figures. They only made about kind of 6 or 7 or whatever. They made the main cast, and you had Vader, then you had Boba Fett, and you had a couple other ones. But I think he's a nice thing, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. But he was like what everyone was going on about at the time. I mean, I had this when I was a kid as well. Like a different one, but yeah, this was a big deal, man. He was an important character in this film. Didn't really do a lot, to be honest. I think he just kind of stood there.
No,
really.
that's all he needed to do, though, wasn't it?
It was
Like,
just a presence,
yeah.
if anything. Like,
Yeah, and that's how you can write a character with mystery and presence.
but not make him have to do this shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know?
Like clever writing again. It's like
I think he has,
who is
like,
this
he
mysterious
has a
Boba
couple of
Fett,
lines, you know.
Yeah,
Put
yeah.
Captain Solo in the cargo hold. He means a lot, you know.
They give him like a bitch's ending in Jedi though.
That's why. Yeah.
But I quite like that in a way. It's like, oh, there he goes. He wasn't much after all.
No. But why was he helping out Jab? I mean, he's a bounty hunter.
Yeah, why was he still there?
Yeah, he don't need to be. You know?
Why was he still there?
Should have just let Luke do it all. Yeah.
Interesting. But yeah, so Boba Fett was great in Empire, not so great in Jedi.
No. Empire Strikes Back, just...
Also, for me...
Yeah.
This...
Would that be your favourite scene in Star Wars?
My favourite scene in all of Star Wars probably is this. This just, like, absolutely fucking mystified me as a child.
Because...
I couldn't believe it. I guess I grew up with stuff like... Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, where you had, like, the evil queen turning people into stone.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had the whole like Jesus like element to it as well, didn't you? I guess the whole like Jesus being crucified, like kind of like sacrificing himself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going down a religious wormhole here. I don't care honestly. But that whole storyline came into play a little bit here, didn't it? And the weird symbolicness of I'm talking symbolics. But the weird symbolization of this thing as well, like just up there in Jabba's palace as well. I used to go to church when I was a kid, and we had this big like silver.
Well, you had
this big silver Jesus.
You had Jesus in carbonite.
But he looked like that.
Oh right,
He's silver, big silver statue, and I used to always picture this like being there, like oh no, they got you too, Jesus. But yeah, the whole like Han Solo and carbonite thing was just amazing, just baffling as a kid. You're like,
also, can we just pay homage?
Such an image, man.
Can we just pay tribute to Harrison Ford's one of the best lines ever? When she goes, "I love you," and he goes, "I know."
I know. Yeah. That's
absolutely
right.
brilliant.
That's right. It's a
Yeah.
good line. It's a good line. That's a good line in this film. Also, Yoda training Luke Skywalker up from that whole like, oh, Yoda's the master.
Yeah, and I like the bit. I love the bit where Yoda's like he's pretending to be this crazy like sort of frog kind of character.
Yeah.
And then he turns serious
Crazy
on the
frog.
dime.
Yeah.
When he goes, you know, you are reckless.
Yeah, he's
And
like,
it's
no, I can't teach this guy. He's full of shit. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like turn, and it's like you don't know what you're getting into, mate.
Yeah. So
You know?
he's like a sort of Mr. Miyagi type.
Yeah,
kind
pretty
of,
much,
Like,
yeah.
wise. Yeah. This is it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a very clever move.
And one of my favourite bits in that is where he's talking about the Force.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like he surrounds us and it binds us, and it's like
Yeah,
you have to feel the Force.
This is going back
You
to
know?
those old martial arts films.
Yeah.
I say Mr. Miyagi as a throwaway comment, really, because you go back to those old martial arts films where you got the great kind of, the older, wiser, sort of
Always the
guru.
same with the moustache down.
Leading the character on.
Yeah.
It's like and like there was the kind of like humiliation bit where you're making your protege have to do all these stupid tasks, like climb steps, like do all these kind of like demeaning kind of like ongoing long things to try and get there, like also portrayed in like films like Kill Bill, and you have the whole training up session in there.
Karate Kid as well, especially.
In this, you've got Yoda's making Skywalker carry him while he does all this training. It's all in itself is like an impossible task, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, Yoda's got away a fair bit, probably.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's quite a tough little
He
thing,
is.
isn't he? But I love all that. The whole scene on like Dagobah is amazing.
Yeah. The bit where he goes in the cave.
But the cave
And
with Vader,
Yoda's basically you don't need your weapons. And
Yeah.
really, I always interpret that. Yeah, everybody interprets it differently.
Yeah.
So I interpret it that if you go down the same path as Vader went down, you'll end up destroying yourself, type of thing. you know?
Yeah. I guess that's what that is. It probably is.
But everybody's got their own and they're all like pretty good.
On it. Yeah. So there we go. So The Empire Strikes Back. I mean, do we need to say much more
Now
about it?
everybody's seen it.
We covered our
If you
own
haven't, you're living under a
edges
rock.
there. Yeah.
You need to watch it because it's not like some of the Star Trek films that we mentioned.
Yeah.
It's not just a good Star Wars movie. It's just an absolutely incredible
It's a
movie.
great movie and some amazing stop motion and practical effects and stuff as well.
The stop motion effects with the Atwalkers and all that, brilliant.
They were originally supposed to be a lot more Wampus. Like the whole
There
base
was.
was
Did you
under
see-
attack
did you-
by
yeah,
Wampus.
did
I've
you-
seen all those deleted scenes.
scenes,
Yeah, amazing. And where C-3PO actually removes the side of the door and
the snow trooper goes in.
That's such a good line. But then again, that's getting a bit silly. And back then, they knew not to put too much fucking comedy in.
They did.
A lesson to be learned. Take note, Disney. Yeah. sure Disney executives are watching this video anyway, because we're that important.
We are.
That they're taking notes. So there you go.
Kathleen Kennedy, sort yourself out.
Sort yourself out. So next we're going to move on to number 1, I suppose. So, right, number 1 on the list, we know what it's going to be. Use the Force. Using the Force, we have it. So here it is, look, Star Wars, man. You know, it doesn't say A New Hope or Episode 1 or anything, it just says the all-time great movies, Star Wars.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away,
Here they come!
Star Wars.
Coming in too fast!
An adventure unlike anything on your planet. It's an epic of heroes and villains and aliens from 1,000 worlds. Star Wars, rated PG.
So this is the first video ever released in England. We had a great big...
Ever?
Well, yeah. Of anything. No. The first time Star Wars was released. So you had this great big like X-rental that you sometimes see going for like thousands of pounds or whatever. That was the first release. Like you can rent this out in 1982.
Yeah, you could.
But this is the first commercial video. 1988. You'll say 1988. Yeah. So here we go. Look, nostalgia, man. Back when everything was quite simple. Yeah. So here we go. So
and blocky.
And blocky, yeah. So here you go. You watch it properly. It's still got the episode. This video still has the episode 5 tagged on to the crawl at the beginning. It's not the original. No. You have to get the rental version. I was talking about.
Get the cinema
version was still
you have to get the cinema release.
You have to go back and get a cinema.
The first print.
An original cinema print, which you can get. I've seen those. Like so you can talk a little bit about the what do you call it? The despecialized edition. So now some people have painstakingly found these original transfers, and they've given them the Blu-ray remastering effect. So you can now watch the original Star Wars films as they came out of the cinema in like Blu-ray quality. You just have to go online, go to places like MySpleen, and try and get into these places and get decent copies of it. You have to get invites. It's a long, complicated, difficult process. But if you're prepared to do the work, you can see these films in their true glory.
Yeah. How they should be seen.
We also have this in comparison. Yeah. This doesn't even say A New Hope on it either. It does on the side. Like, but they haven't tagged it onto the front yet.
No.
But it does say on the front, the original Star Wars available for the last time. There we go, look. And a terrible poster to go with it. But yeah, so there you go. First and last videos of this film. We'll stop talking about the videos now and move on to the actual film itself.
Yeah.
So, what to say about this film? Well, it was a groundbreaking masterpiece that transformed cinema as we know it.
It grabs you from the opening crawl.
Yeah.
And then you have like the 2 ships.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you're basically just engrossed in it.
The ship at the beginning, you see the little ship go past and you think, that's a fairly big ship. And then the other one comes over and it goes on for days.
Doesn't it? Yeah. And it's a beautifully done shot.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's just immense, mate, you know.
Parodied on like sort of Red Dwarf,
parodying on
that,
everything.
and everything else, Spaceballs and stuff as well. We talked about Spaceballs earlier on. Yeah, so this film, just massively influential and quite a fairly small time director. A huge
he was
project.
an arty director, wasn't he? I mean,
did
before that,
American Graffiti.
Yeah, and he did like
big
THX and stuff.
THX 1138, which became his company name, isn't it? That's also a very good film, well worth checking out if you haven't seen it. Fantastic. But quite a small time director really. Then he made this, and this was like an epic masterpiece. Very difficult to make. Yeah. Filmed in like Tunisia and
in London as well.
Anywhere really, you know, like they used to be. But films were kind of epic. Yeah. Epic proportions.
And you actually had to be in a real place to like do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, effects were very much hands-on, weren't they? You know?
I think he showed Steven Spielberg like some of the shots, like, and it was like a World War II like sort of battle. You saw the planes going down, and it's like
that's it. And Flash Gordon, the old like serial version,
Buster Crab and all that.
Yeah, the old serial Flash Gordon showing in the cinemas, and the old black and white episodic ones that had the crawl at the beginning and all that stuff. So a lot of things. He took a lot of inspiration. He took things from like there's even old westerns out there. Like
I mean, basically, like Star Wars is a western stroke samurai film.
Yeah, yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So he's
A
taking
lot of
it from Western influences
yeah.
and Eastern influences as well. I think Darth Vader's helmet was kind of like a samurai's helmet.
Yeah.
Back in, without, obviously, without the mask and stuff.
That's another thing that people mess up these days is when they say, oh yeah, well, Star Wars took stuff from other things, but it's not in the same league, because Star Wars was influenced by like a generation or generations of films. It wasn't just ripping off a film that was made 20 years ago, which is kind of what they're doing now a lot. So it's not the same thing, is it? At all.
And in art, that happens a lot.
Yeah,
Like, like every director has grown. Like James Cameron said he saw Star Wars, jacked in his job.
Yeah.
And then like became a director. It's like, and then we got, because of Star Wars, we got Terminator. You know what I mean?
Important stuff, and also the whole toy collecting as well.
Yes.
It's very clever to was it George Lucas wanted the toy rights? Was that right? Yeah. So that was also a very clever thing. Started off the action figures really. I mean, before then we had action figures. We had quite a lot of them for different things. Don't know what example. We had like adventure people and that kind of stuff.
And the
Action Man.
big thing was Action Man for us. 12-inch.
$6 million and all that stuff. Like, slightly before, but Star Wars really changed the action figure line, made it what it is today. The toy franchise and all that stuff. I mean,
every toy franchise that there is now owes a debt.
Absolutely, every single action figure in existence. Yeah. This is it. Every aspect of merchandising, really, isn't it? And a perfect thing to create something completely wholly original that will captivate people so much that they're collecting and talking about it for
50 years
to come.
It's
50
years in 2 years, isn't it?
Quite a big deal.
Also,
that's kind of why we had to put this at the beginning, because of all the things that it did. Like Empire might have been a better film in some ways, but this film is the start of it all. This is like the original, the mecca, the go-to.
There was like a thing. There was a film called Where Eagles Dare. And somebody said that's an adventure you have with your action men, and I agree with that. And I would say this film is the same. It brings it, like, drags you through it. It brings you through it. It's just an epic adventure. It's of the highest quality. You go on board the space station. You dress, you disguise yourself as a stormtrooper, you're going around and stuff like that. Man,
it's got kind of everything, isn't it?
It's got everything.
It's that epic fantasy film / martial arts / Western
mythology.
It plays on every single aspect, doesn't it, of your imagination as a kid, I guess. That's probably what draws you in so much, does it? And it's got a great ending with medals being handed out and people clapping, which is like the perfect ending to a film. It's like how every war film kind of ends, it's that kind of...
Do that, by Jove!
We won we won the battle, we did this...
Starts lighting their pipes.
The war's not over, but the battle's complete, and all that kind of thing, It carries on from there, it's... What can you say, man?
Speaking of Star Trek, though, like, so Robert Beltran, who played Chakotay in Voyager, he doesn't like sci-fi, so he never watched Star Wars. I think he's probably the only one in this world that hasn't watched it.
Right.
So, everybody's watched Star Wars. There isn't a person that doesn't like it, really, to be honest.
No, this is it.
It's, it says on the box, Universal for All. And that's exactly what it is.
That's what the years really meant. We
used to sit down as a family at Christmas, watch this, epic film.
A special thing, man.
A staple for everybody's childhood, basically.
Absolutely. So we've kind of come to the end of the list now. Then, thank fuck. I mean, that's a long video right there. Unless I cut all this out and just make it really short, we'll see what goes. See what goes down. I'm not sure if this will be 2 hours long. It might be. I don't know. But anyway, we're going to cover TV movies and TV series. We'll talk a little bit about it. So the TV movies, they made the Star Wars Holiday Special.
They did.
Just after Star Wars, just a year or so after.
Cash in. And you can see,
it was awful.
You can see when Mark Hamill's had his accident.
He had a car accident.
And he was so made up in that, wasn't he?
But all the actors returned. I think it was in their contract. They all had to come back and make this awful TV special.
And you can actually see Harrison Ford dying inside.
But we don't need to go on about that because there's been so many videos. We could even do our own entire video on that, really. Other TV movies include the Ewoks films. We talked a bit about those earlier on. They weren't very good, really. They're hard to watch as an adult. As a kid, if you're a kid obsessed with Star Wars, you can watch them. If you're an adult, they're quite hard work.
When Mum brought them back from the video. I thought, Jesus, what the hell Christ is this?
We had Battle for Endor on a big box VHS.
Cartoons of the 80s. We had an Ewoks cartoon.
Yeah.
And then, which was like a cutesy Care Bear type of
It
thing.
was like
wasn't
Gummy
it?
Bears, wasn't it? Really, Star Wars Gummy
And,
Bears.
there was Droids. as well.
Droids, yeah, Droids a bit more interesting, and it had a man of a very similar name to Kylo Ren.
And another similar woman to like Rey as well.
Yeah, so kind of like a lot of that was influenced by that, weirdly, and it sounded like the theme tune was done by the police.
Yeah.
You remember it?
Should have been arrested, mate.
Should have been arrested. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a weird one. Droids. Droids is kind of watchable, sort of. It's got some familiar characters turn up in it and stuff. I don't know. I could probably it's probably hit or miss. The Droids is very similar as well to the Boba Fett cartoon from the holiday special. That's like a pilot.
Almost the same
really.
like animated style, isn't it?
It is. I think it's a pilot really. That Droids is kind of built off the back of that. But I mean, Droids is a bit like all the series that we have now, really. But there's a lot of. Including all those like Clone Wars and what they call Rebels and
Rebels you have as well. You have TV shows like The Acolyte and all of that, but
that's right.
That's like pretty substandard.
That brings us on to the next round of TV series. That's right. So there's a lot of those now. I mean, I enjoyed The Mandalorian. I enjoyed the first couple of series of that.
Did you enjoy
Obi-Wan? Not really, no. I didn't really like any of it, and any of the other stuff really. I watched it all, and then until I stopped watching it all, and I haven't seen anything since Andor. I watched like the first half of that and then gave up. I'm not really into these. I mean, there's a lot to get into, isn't there? A lot to unpack. Maybe one day I'll get around to watching it all, but I'll do it later on when they've stopped making them.
I wouldn't bother if I was you, mate. Yeah.
Waste of time.
Yeah.
And what else do we have? That's it, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's it. So that is Star Wars done. If you've made it this far into the video, then
well done.
You have some fucking patience, man.
You've got fucking some stamina in you.
I didn't think I was going to make it to this point in the video. You know, fucking hell. But okay, we did it. This is our worst to best Star Wars films. The video was long. We rambled on. We probably got stuff wrong. We even got like orders of films wrong. But we did it. The important thing is, we were here. We did this. It's done. We can put it to bed.
Epic.
We can maybe review like Hummer films or something next. I don't know.
Police Academy.
Police Academy. I have to go and watch them all. I don't know if I want to do that.
You do, mate. You do.
I don't know.
Especially 6 and 7.
I'll do short circuit films.
What, only 2 of them?
20-minute video, man.
First one's good, second one's
No, that's the other way around. That's the other way around.
Really?
Yeah. The second one's good. The first one wasn't as interesting. Yeah, that wins. So we've done that now. That's done.
James Bond.
David Lynch films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did we say earlier?
Carry-ons.
Before that, it was.
Don't know. We did some horror. October we'll do the Halloween films. We'll do Halloween worst to best, which will be quite fun. I think.
Yeah.
We could do Friday the 13th as well. You know all that. But anyway, we'll do more videos. What we're saying.
Yeah.
I'm not going to list them all.
This product was packed under strict quality control on the system Amorphia, and this instruction cassette provided by the manufacturer. It offers a unique chance for consumers everywhere to meet an Amorphian being. The motor abilities of Amorphian citizens are frequently impaired by malfunctions, which result in a temporary loss of power. This in no way reflects on the safety of our product. Rather, it should serve as a guarantee of our high standard of long wear and durability.
Thank you for selecting our brand of mini transmitter. If you assemble it properly, following the instructions I am about to give you, it will provide many years of fun
and valuable service for you.
We celebrate a day of peace, a day of harmony, a day of joy we all can share together joyously.
The Star Wars Trilogy on video. Now, the Star Wars Trilogy on video in THX.
Chewie, get us out of here!
Feel the full force in THX. It's a difference you can see and hear.
They're not actually going into an asteroid field.
They'd be crazy to follow us, wouldn't they? By the legend that rules the galaxy.
It is your destiny.
The original version of Star Wars on video. Buy it before it's gone forever.